Did you ever play a game of pirates when you were a little kid, searching for that buried treasure with your friends, having the time of your lives, and then had it all ruined when your older brother got home and kicked sand in your eyes? That's what Sea of Thieves is like. Stick around and allow me to elaborate. G'day everyone, Lucas here from Aussie Gamers Express, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the at-sea pirate adventure game from Rare, Sea of Thieves. Essentially what we have here is an open world action-adventure game where you start off by picking your pirate. You can't modify your pirate right away, rather you select your pirate from a bunch of randomly created designs that you can modify later when you've earned some sweet gold. Your character is your life in a game like this, so it makes sense that a main focus will be for you to earn some gold to add some pirate features, such as a peg leg, a beard, and maybe some eye patches. There's plenty to choose from, but alas, they're only cosmetic in use. And as you can see here, there is a large choice of bits and pieces to add to your pirate, but the prices are extremely high, making the grind so very real. So by now we all have a character that's all set up and we're ready to hit the open seas. Once we have a mission set, we can head off into the world of water and search for hidden treasure. There are a couple of choices before you get going. You can either brave it alone or hit up some friends for some 4-player co-op action, or you can enter a matchmaking and join some random players to head out with. There are two styles of watercraft that you can use, and there's the larger of the two, which is called a galleon, which really does need a full crew of 4 to use all of the parts that are required for sailing. The other is a smaller ship called a sloop, which is good for 2 players, but it is manageable alone with some practice. The gameplay has you managing your ship's controls to get you where you need to go, but you also need to keep an eye on your supplies such as bananas, cannonballs, and wooden planks. You'll need to eat the bananas for health when it gets low, and the wooden planks to patch up holes in your boat to avoid sinking. And the cannonballs, well, you load them into your cannons for full-on naval warfare. So you finally made it to the island on the treasure map that you have, and you've followed the clues to find the loot. Dig it up and haul it back to your ship. Take it back to the vendor at an outpost and sell it for gold. That's the game in a nutshell, and a simple rinse and repeat method ensues. Now, Sea of Thieves has been compared to games like No Man's Sky due to its lack of a story, of which there is none, and the minimal content available to date. While there is some merit to that comment, it's not a comparison that I would use confidently. No, there's not a story of sorts in Sea of Thieves, and I really think that is key to the soul of this game. To add a story in there would make the experience somebody else's ideal, and I don't get that feel from Sea of Thieves. I think the intended experience here is a choose-your-own-adventure feel, where you should go out and make your own fun in a world that can be filled with possibilities over time. The experience of Sea of Thieves this early into its release is fun, but it does appear to be slightly a blank canvas that will very likely be filled over time. People complaining about an unfinished game costing a full retail price of $99 need to realise that the real pricing is from $10.95, as Sea of Thieves is fully playable using Microsoft's Game Pass. Now, moving on to a real concern for me regarding in-game combat and rivalries. For me, the real comparison in gameplay would be to compare Sea of Thieves to The Division's Dark Zone. I stopped playing within the Dark Zone in The Division simply because after an hour of looting, it was way too easy for an enemy or a rogue player to come along and take all of that away from me, rendering the last hour of gameplay essentially a waste of time. I didn't mind this so much in The Division because it was an optional mode. In Sea of Thieves, this is the game.
Brian, can you help him out? I'm looting Zoe.
Let's go revive him, man.
In Sea of Thieves, you're playing an online multiplayer game, whether it feels like it or not. Eventually, you're going to run into other players who will inevitably want to kill you and steal all of your loot. Hell, the ones that we have run into in the past don't even care that we had absolutely no loot at all. They were content with just killing us over and over and over again for absolutely no gains or character progression at all. The trolling element was sufficient for these people. And just a quick note on that, the enemies that we were facing here, they knew we had no loot because they had already sunk our ship about 5 minutes prior. Then they just hunted us down again after we'd respawned and sunk us again and again, knowing that we would definitely not have had any loot in that short amount of time. Now, I don't mind an element of risk in combat, but when it's severely one-sided, I don't think Rare can leave it the way it is. Currently, if you sail alone on a small sloop ship, you can be thrown into instances with 4-player teams sailing around in a massive galleon. You can't convince me that this is a fair way to enter combat into any game. Now, I can't argue that Sea of Thieves isn't a beautiful looking game. The design of the world is something difficult to describe. Realistic swells in the ocean are mixed with crisp looking ships, but is meshed with cartoonish characters and objects. Altogether, this kind of style makes for a ton of screenshot opportunities and slow pan videos that look absolutely to die for. Well, that's all I have time for today, but in summary, I'd have to say that thanks to Game Pass, Sea of Thieves is definitely something that you should try. There's plenty of work that still needs to be done to balance the gameplay and the rewards, but we live in a time where that's how it all works now. Everything that we play these days is a work in progress, and I guarantee that the Sea of Thieves that I have played today will be a very different game in 12 months from now. Thank you very much to everyone for checking out this review, and if you haven't already, please give this video a like and click that big ol' subscribe button to check out our videos when they go live. See you all next time, but until then, I am Lucas and I will see you!